There is a sound in Africa that freezes the blood of every living creature that hears it. Not the scream of a dying animal, not the crack of thunder rolling across the savanna, but the roar of a lion in the dead of night. A sound so deep and ancient that it vibrates through the chest, like a warning from another world. For centuries, humanity believed it had conquered nature. We built weapons, cities, and civilizations, convincing ourselves that even the king of beasts feared us. But sometimes, the lion remembers what it truly is. And when African lions turn on humans, the results are not quick, not clean, and never merciful. Entire villages have spent sleepless nights listening to footsteps outside mud walls. Hunters have disappeared into tall grass, without leaving behind anything except blood-soaked earth. Families sleeping in silence have been dragged into darkness by jaws powerful enough to crush bone like dry branches. These are not myths whispered around campfires. These are real nightmares written in flesh by one of nature's most terrifying predators. Cinematic close-up of the African lion's glowing eyes emerging from darkness, rain pouring across its mane. Moody high-contrast lighting. The African lion has always been romanticized as a symbol of courage, royalty, and power. Stories portray it as noble, majestic, almost mythical. But beneath that golden mane lies a creature engineered by millions of years of evolution for one horrifying purpose: killing. Lions are not ordinary predators. Unlike solitary hunters, they work together with ruthless precision. They stalk prey silently, surrounding it from multiple directions before launching an ambush so violent that escape becomes nearly impossible. Their victims rarely even understand what is happening until hundreds of pounds of muscle and claws crash into them from the darkness. In parts of Africa, lions are not distant animals viewed safely through safari windows. They are shadows lurking beyond villages, silent figures hidden in chest-high grass, waiting patiently for sunset, because lions do simply hunt. They observe, they calculate, and when they attack, they do so with terrifying certainty. Cinematic aerial shot of fog-covered African savanna at dusk. Lone human silhouette walking while distant lion roars echo. To understand why lions are so deadly, you must understand the weapon's nature built into their bodies. An adult male African lion can weigh more than 500 pounds, but its true power lies beneath the skin. Massive shoulder muscles allow explosive acceleration capable of launching the animal forward with terrifying speed. In just seconds, a lion can sprint nearly 50 miles per hour, turning itself into a living missile of claws and teeth. Imagine standing in darkness and suddenly seeing that charge explode from the grass towards you before your brain can even process fear. Their claws are retractable hooks sharper than knives, designed not only to wound prey, but to hold it down while the lion begins feeding. Victims are often still alive during the attack. And then there are the jaws. A lion's bite force can puncture skulls, crush vertebrae, and suffocate animals many times larger than a human being. But perhaps the most horrifying weapon is psychological. Lions understand fear. They recognize hesitation, weakness, panic. Deep inside human DNA exists an ancient terror inherited from ancestors who once shared the wilderness with these predators. The silhouette of a crouching lion hidden in tall grass awakens something primal in the human mind, the realization that you are being hunted. Slow-motion footage of lions sprinting through muddy terrain during thunderstorm. Droplets flying from its mane. Unlike many predators, lions prefer to attack the neck. Not simply because it is efficient, but because suffocation is silent. There is no prolonged struggle, no dramatic scream echoing through the wilderness. Just crushing pressure around the throat as darkness slowly closes in. Researchers studying lion attacks discovered many victims were dragged long distances before remains were found. Sometimes only scattered bones and torn clothing remain. Once a lion decides you are prey, it rarely stops pursuing you, and that is what makes them so terrifying. They are patient enough to wait for the perfect moment, and powerful enough to end a life within seconds. Gory close-up of lion teeth and jaws covered in rain and blood. Hyper-detailed textures of muscles and claws. One of the most horrifying examples of lions turning on humans occurred in 1898 in Kenya's Savo region. Railway workers building a bridge began disappearing during the night. At first, people blamed accidents or wandering predators, but then came the screams. Two massive male lions had begun systematically hunting humans. Night after night, they entered camps and dragged sleeping workers out of tents into the darkness. Men barricaded entrances with crates and lit massive fires, believing flames would keep the predators away. It did not matter. The lions tore through thorn barricades like paper. Witnesses described hearing deep growls outside tents moments before victims vanished into the night. Some bodies were never recovered. Others were found partially eaten in the tall grass surrounding the camps. Fear spread like disease. Workers abandoned construction entirely, refusing to remain after sunset. Entire camps transformed into prisons of terror where every sound in the darkness felt like approaching death. Cinematic recreation of terrified workers hiding inside lantern-lit tents while giant lion silhouettes move outside in thick fog. The hunter assigned to stop the Savo lions, Lieutenant Colonel John Henry Patterson, described nights filled with unbearable tension. Even armed men were terrified to leave shelter after dark. Official records claimed the lions killed dozens of people, though some estimates suggest more than 100 victims disappeared during the attacks. What made the predators so terrifying was not simply their violence but their boldness. They ignored fire, gunshots, and human screams. The lions had learned something horrifying. Humans were vulnerable. And once a predator learns that humans are easy prey, the nightmare only grows darker. Cinematic close-up of lion paw prints stained with blood leading into fog-covered darkness beneath moonlight. Decades later, another nightmare emerged in Tanzania. The Njombe lions became responsible for one of the deadliest waves of lion attacks ever recorded. Villages lived under constant fear. Farmers disappeared while working in fields. Children vanished near huts after sunset. People gathering firewood simply never returned home. These lions became experts at hunting humans. Think about that for a moment. A predator studying human behavior, learning routines, identifying weaknesses. Witnesses described lions breaking directly into homes made from mud and thatch. Some victims were dragged away while family members watched helplessly, too terrified to intervene. Fear reshaped entire communities. After dark, villages became silent prisons where nobody dared travel alone. Hunters later discovered many of the lions were old or injured, unable to chase faster prey like buffalo or antelope. So they adapted. Humans became the easiest target available. And once lions begin associating people with food, the behavior can spread through an entire pride. That is what makes man-eaters so terrifying. Not revenge, not hatred, adaptation. Tracking shot through dense jungle foliage as glowing lion eyes appear between trees in heavy rain. Even today, lion attacks continue across parts of Africa. In remote villages bordering wilderness, people still disappear into darkness. Sometimes it happens in seconds. A person walks alone near dusk. Grass shifts, then silence. Survivors of lion attacks often describe hearing absolutely nothing before impact. No roar, no warning. Just overwhelming force crashing into them from behind. One survivor recalled feeling the lion's hot breath against his neck before being dragged across dirt like prey. Another described locking eyes with a lion moments before the attack and realizing there was no emotion in its stare. No rage, no hatred, just cold instinct. A machine built by nature to kill. Modern conservationists face an impossible balance. Protecting lions while protecting the humans forced to live beside them. As human settlements expand deeper into wilderness territory, encounters become inevitable. And when drought strikes the savanna, predators become desperate. Desperate predators are among the deadliest creatures on Earth. Cinematic close-up of lion breathing heavily in darkness while lightning illuminates blood-covered teeth. The African lion is not evil. It does not kill because it enjoys suffering. That would almost make more sense. The true horror is colder than that. Lions kill because nature designed them perfectly for survival. Every claw, every muscle, every instinct exists for domination. And whenever humans forget that truth, nature reminds us in blood. We build fences, we carry weapons, we convince ourselves civilization has conquered the wild. But beyond the safety of city lights, the ancient laws of nature still rule. And in those laws, humans are not always the hunters. Sometimes we are simply prey. The roar echoing through the African night is more than sound. It is a warning from a world older than humanity itself. A reminder that nature does not forgive, and these killers do not show mercy. Respect the boundary, or pay the price. Final cinematic shot of enormous lion, slowly emerging from darkness during thunderstorm. Glowing eyes fixed directly on camera, fade to black.